Hello everyone. I think we should start off by addressing the obvious. I have a different hair colour. I have copper, question mark, hair? Ginger, copper, I think it's more coppery. Yeah, I did this a couple days ago and it's cute. I really like it personally. We do not have the black hair anymore. She's a little bit fried, but we're not going to talk about that. Instead, today I'm here for just a normal reading vlog. I think I'm going to do a little bit of mood reading. You know, just see what tickles my fancy throughout the week, but I do have some options here. Wait, I think I need to talk about one more, hold on. So, I'm currently reading two books that I'm actively like interested in continuing to read potentially through this vlog. I'm in the middle of a lot of books and a lot of them are soft DNFs, but these are the ones that, you know, I've started recently and I am interested in getting back round to. The first one I actually started last night, and that's Pride and Prejudice, which I don't have to read for uni. We all know I read some classics for uni. Not this one, I just wanted to pick it up. And I'm only on chapter 7, which is 32 pages in, but I'm having fun with it. I've decided to tab any like iconic quotes, and naturally I tabbed the first sentence. But yeah, I'm listening to this one on audiobook as I kind of follow along in the physical version. So yeah, I'll probably read a tiny bit of this one throughout the vlog. And then I've finally started on my Brandon Sanderson journey. Restarted. I am rereading The Final Empire, which is book 1 in the Mistborn trilogy. If you don't know Brandon Sanderson, about 50 of his books take place in what is called the Cosmere, and it's basically all of these books are somehow interconnected. I don't really understand, but a lot of people say that this is a good place to start with. You know, there isn't necessarily a set chronological order, so you just got to try and figure out where you want to start from, I guess. But I'm rereading this and then hopefully going to make my way through the rest of the Mistborn trilogy, but again, I'm only 28 pages into this, which is chapter 2, so I definitely want to make some good progress with this one. And then I have a big stack of potentials for the mood reading. We'll probably only get to maybe 2 of these, and there's 5, but I want options, and I want you guys to know my options for the vlog. The first one is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is just like a YA mystery series. This is book 1 in the series. I got it in February and I've been really intrigued to get into it. I don't know anything more than that really. I think people call this like YA Criminal Minds, which I've never seen. But is that the show with the guy in it who voiced Simon from the Chipmunks? I have seen a lot of clips from it, so I think I'll really enjoy this one, so this is a potential. Then the next book I've spoken about so much on this channel and I still haven't bloody read it, but that's One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I will get to this one day. My interest in reading this has significantly increased to when I've previously spoken about this, because I know a little bit more about the magic system and what this book is actually about, and it does seem really, really cool. So I do want to get around to it soon, because I think there's these like magic cards, which, you know, kind of reminds me of Caraval, but like in a good way. So I'm even more intrigued about it. So again, another maybe. Then I got this book on Sunday. It's currently Wednesday, by the way. I got this book on Sunday. I've heard it's her best book, not including her release that literally came out this week, because I think people are really enjoying that one too. I've heard this is her best. And that's Beach Read by Emily Henry. I tried to listen to the audiobook of People We Meet on Vacation and it didn't hit for me, and I think that's just because audiobook is not the format for me for a romance. I just don't think that's how I like to consume my romance books, so it didn't work for me. So I don't really have a fair judgment on her work, because I did DNF that, I didn't finish it. So I'm excited to give this one a read. I just recently read The 7-Year Slip, and I've heard that this deals with some similar themes in terms of grief, which I quite enjoyed that aspect of The 7-Year Slip, so I'm excited if that is true about this one. I don't know if it is though. Wait, maybe I'm getting confused with a different one. I'll let you know. Then, I have a lot of options, guys. Then we have The Darkest Part of the Forest, which is one of Holly Black's earliest, I don't think it's the first, but the earliest books in fairy, you know. It is in the same world as the modern fairy tales and the Folk of the Air, The Stolen Air, all of those. It's the same world. We don't see any of the same characters, but it is that world. Yeah, this is one of her earlier works. It came out a very long time ago. When did it come out? Oh, okay, not that long ago. 2015. I was like 12. So, wait, 2015. No, I was like 11. So it was a while ago. But yeah, that's that one. It's like there's a fairy prince inside a glass coffin in a forest, and all, oh, I'm out of focus, and all of the like people in the surrounding village, they like go and see him, and then one day he's like gone, and I think this brother and sister try and like find him. I don't really know, but it sounds interesting. And then my final one, which if you saw my last vlog, I did show you me getting this book and The 7-Year Slip, and I asked if you wanted a vlog for them. I have already read The 7-Year Slip. You won't get to see me read that, but you may get to see me read this, which is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is a really cute romance where basically both main characters believe that they have a curse, that when they date someone, that person always goes on to find their soulmate after they break up. So they believe that they can kind of cancel out this curse, or maybe a more accurate description is they believe they can inflict this curse on each other. And then they will go on to find their soulmates after they date. So they like try and date for a couple months, but obviously I think we all know what's gonna happen. But that is my huge stack of potentials. I really don't know what I'm gonna start with. Oh, I'm also rereading Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, as I feel like half of the population is in preparation for the new season of Bridgerton. But I'm taking my time with that one. I want to get it done before the show comes out, but I still have a few weeks, so that's not super important. But yeah. This is my huge stack. I might start one of the potentials today, and obviously also continue with the two I'm already reading. But yeah, I might start. Oh dear, what was that? Yeah, I really don't know which one to pick. I feel like I'm getting myself back again into another mini slump because I have so many books I want to read, and then I'm just like, I don't know which ones to read. But, you know, we'll figure that out. I will pick something. I am kind of leaning towards Just for the Summer, maybe. I am going to Waterstones today. I'm keeping my eye out for two books in particular. I've seen that, I don't know when this happened, guys, but if you were on BookTube in like 2018, 2019, and everyone was loving Strange the Dreamer, and it was that beautiful blue cover with the golden moth in the middle of it, and then it went out of print and people were selling it for like £250 a book on eBay. I feel like I've imagined this because that cover is now back in print and no one said anything about it and I'm so confused. But I have what I would call one of the more gross covers. It's like fine, but I feel like it doesn't represent the magic that is inside that book. So I'm gonna keep my eyes out for the really pretty original cover that's now back in print somehow, because I want that. I don't want it for Muse of Nightmares because I didn't love that one as much, but I do want it for Strange the Dreamer. And then while we're talking about Brandon Sanderson, I do want to keep my eye out for Tress of the Emerald Sea. Is that what it's called? It's like a standalone in the Cosmos, so I feel like that would also be a good one to pick up. So I want to see if they had that, because I really enjoyed the sound of the plot for that one, so I am interested in reading that one too. So those are my plans. This was a very long intro clip. I need to leave, but yeah, I might take Just for the Summer with me and start it on my journey. Okay, in natural fashion, I didn't film a single thing. But I do have an update. I've ended up getting 3 books because I managed to get them half off, because I have an inside link. No, I used to work there, so when I see one of the guys I used to work with, he gives me half off, which is very nice. So I got 3 books, and only one of them is one of the ones I went in for. I couldn't find the right edition of Strange the Dreamer, unfortunately, but I did manage to find Tress of the Emerald Sea. I nearly didn't, because it wasn't anywhere near any of his other books on the floor, which I thought was a bit weird. It was like on a completely separate table, but I did manage to find it, which I'm very excited about. It's so oh, okay. Yeah, I did manage to find it. It's such a pretty cover. It doesn't match any of his other books, which is also kind of a pet peeve. It doesn't have that classic Brandon Sanderson cover, but that's okay. But this is what we're looking like. She's cute, and this is a standalone in the Cosmo universe. And it's like, you know, she lives on this island, and there's an emerald green ocean, you know, Tress in the Emerald Sea. And she has this friend Charlie, but then one day Charlie's father takes him away, like on a voyage to go and find a bride, and then I believe he like doesn't come back, so she has to like go and try and find him, I think is kind of the premise of this one. And it does sound really interesting, and I think, you know, getting into such a big universe like the Cosmere, it's probably good to try and go in with some standalones alongside some of the chunkier series, such as Mistborn or the Stormlight. Is it the Stormlight Archive? I don't know. You know that huge one that in the UK each book is split into 2 books? Yeah, that one. So I think, yeah, it'll be nice to have some standalones thrown into the mix. Speaking of, because it took me a really long time to find the Tress of the Emerald Sea, and I didn't think it was there, I did grab a different Brandon Sanderson book, because, you know, he's got so many books out, I thought might as well grab another one to try and make my way through them. So I did pick up Elantris as well. I love this cover. I love the Brandon Sanderson UK covers. I think they're stunning, and they all look so cohesive, apart from Tress of the Emerald Sea. Don't know what's going on with that one, but it's still really pretty. But Elantris, I believe, was his first published work, and is also one of, well, I guess the first book in the Cosmere, I believe. I think it's in the Cosmere. It'd be kind of annoying if it's not, because I am trying to make my way through the Cosmere before I read any of his other work, which is why I'm not gonna read Skyward for a while, even though I am very interested in reading it. I want to make my way through the Cosmere. This one sounds kind of interesting. There was a city of Elantris, and they had magic, and they were kind of transformed into demigods because of this magic, and then magic failed, and the city started to rot, and the people who lived there, you know, became powerless. And there was a city next to it, or quite close to Elantris, that kind of, you know, was close enough to remind them of everything they lost, all of this magic that they lost. And then that's when the blurb starts to lose me, and I get a whole bunch of information that I don't understand. But I think it says, but secrets remain in Elantris, the dead and the ruined may yet have a role to play in this new world, because magic still lives. So I'm guessing maybe there is still magic in Elantris that people don't really know about. But that's this one. I'm also excited. She's chunky though. She's huge, and the font, guys, is minuscule. I'm kind of scared because the font is really small, and this is a really big book. It's like 550 pages. So, you know. And I've heard this isn't his best work. No, it's his first published one. he's an amazing author. You have to start from somewhere. I've heard it's not like the worst, it's not awful, but it's nowhere near his best, you know? But I'm still excited to read this, and I can't wait to see it next to all of my Miss Bourne books on my shelf. It's just gonna look so nice. And then finally, I got The Prison Healer, which I'm sure you've seen everyone on BookTube reading. Me too, that's why I thought maybe I'll get it. You know, maybe I'll suck it up and buy it, because it does sound interesting. Basically, you know, if you hadn't gathered from the title, The Prison Healer, she's a healer in a prison. And this queen comes and basically sets some challenges for this girl, I think. Oh no, there's a queen in the prison, and then there's a rebel queen who comes and sets challenges for the queen in the prison, I think. And basically our main character takes her place and tries to do these challenges. And that's kind of all I know, and it does sound kind of interesting. I am intrigued by this one because I've heard mixed opinions on her writing style. I've heard she kind of tells you instead of shows you, and I'm intrigued to see how I feel about that sort of writing style. But that's my haul. And then I do have a little bit of an update, because I did force myself to bring a book with me, and I bought Just for the Summer with me, and I'm now 34 pages in, and this is gonna be good. This is gonna be really good. I can already tell. I've never seen two main characters in a romance book have quite so much chemistry. Like, you know, right now they've just been kind of talking online. It's not a spoiler, literally 35 pages in, but they've been talking online through Reddit, and then they exchanged numbers, and they've kind of been having some phone calls, and they just have so much chemistry, and it feels really realistic. Like the kind of giddy messaging, constantly wanting to talk to someone, like when you first start texting someone. I don't know, I feel like it's being well encapsulated, is that the right word? I don't know, in this book, and I'm really enjoying it, and I think this is going to be a really solid read. I was like reading this on the train, and I like didn't want to get to my station because I wanted to keep reading it, because so far it's just really, really fun. So I'll obviously keep you updated with that one and what I continue to think of it, but I think I might try and read some more of it like now, because I'm really into it and I want to like stay into it. But I'm going to put these books on the TBR cart so that I get to them, and then I'm going to probably do some reading. I hope you liked the little mini haul, because I'm really excited, to be honest, about every single one of these books. So yeah, I'm excited to get around to them at some point. Listen, I don't know what happened, okay? I don't know what happened. So this morning, I wasn't even sure which book I wanted to pick up first, right? And then I pick up Just for the Summer, right? And I read it on the train, and I'm like, this is really good. I'm gonna love this book. And then I come home, and I read until page 100, and I'm like, yeah, this is good. And then I take a break, I play some Stardew, I have some dinner, I watch some TikToks, I have a break. And then at like 8 PM, I pick the book back up. And then, for some reason, something was going on up here. I didn't put the book back down. So I have in fact finished Just for the Summer. Don't expect this to happen again. I don't know what happened here with this book, but I literally couldn't put it down. I do actually feel a bit sad about the rating I had to give it, but on this channel we are all familiar. I have spoken time and time again about my despisal. Is that the right word? Anyway, regardless. I despise, spoilers by the way, I despise third act breakups with a burning passion. They are the worst things to ever happen to the romance genre, okay? They're horrendous. Can we please find some other conflict to introduce at the end of the book and not make them break up? Because it's starting to drive me a little bit insane, because they keep just breaking up. I'm so over it. And sometimes I can overlook it. Sometimes the breakup isn't that bad. Like, again, spoilers, guys, but honestly, if I was you, I'd want to know if there was breakups in these books. But the breakup in Heartless by Elsie Silver was not that bad. Honestly, 3 swipes of my Kindle, it was over. It was done. This one was bad, and I actually felt like I'd been broken up with, you know, when that happens. And like, when it was happening, I was like, please stay, please work through this. Like, we can do this, guys. As a group, we can work through this. And it wasn't even down to their relation. Oh my god. Anyway, but it was kind of bad in my opinion. It was one of the not so good breakups. It didn't necessarily last that long, and it was literally like in the last 30 pages. Hi, I'm filming an update for my vlog. What was I even saying? This is just one of the, it wasn't awful, it was fine, it was kind of resolved quite quickly, but it felt like it wounded me in my heart. So I did give it 4.75 stars, and I'm so upset about it, because up until the last 30 pages, it was gonna be a 6-star read, and then that breakup just like kind of, it didn't ruin it. It was still an incredible book. I think everyone should read this if you're into, like, you know, romance books. It wasn't too saucy or anything if you're not into that either. But there is a 3rd act breakup. But yeah, we finished this. It's like 11:30 at night. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go to bed though. And we will talk about what book we're gonna start next. I've got hiccups tomorrow. Yes, goodbye guys. I'm back. It's like 24 hours-ish later. I'm still in the same jumper, don't ask questions. Okay. I did my nails, and while I was doing my nails, I listened to my Pride and Prejudice audiobook and I read loads. Like literally, I read like 120 pages. I must have been listening to this for about an hour, I guess, maybe like an hour and a half. And yeah, I read loads of it. This wasn't one I was going to focus too much on this vlog, and I probably won't because I don't think I'll have an opportunity to listen to this much of this audiobook again. But I did read loads of it and I'm having a lot of fun. Like I was just listening to it and I was just having fun. Honestly, if you guys struggle with classics and you have an Audible subscription, I'm not sponsored, obviously. I'm gonna sound like I am. But if you have an Audible subscription, all of the classics, or most of the popular classics, including all of Jane Austen's books, are free to listen to on there. So I'm just saying, if you struggle, like I do struggle to read them physically myself, the audiobooks are a great help, and it's helped me get through so many classics. So that's why I've been listening to the audiobook, and it's been great. You know, things are happening. If you've seen the movies, I don't even really know where we're at. The bit that's in the movie though that isn't in the book, and I was like waiting for it and it's not in the book, is when that woman's like I'm already a burden to my parents, I have no money and no prospects, and everyone has like cakes and they like tick off with icing. Yeah, that wasn't in the book, which was kind of sad, but I just wanted to briefly update you guys that I did read a whole bunch of this and I'm loving it. And then, as you would have seen, I did start One Dark Window. Now, we have not made a lot of progress with this, and I am planning to read more of this tonight. Also, excuse the bags under my eyes. Don't know where they've come from. I slept really well last night, and I had a nap, so don't know why they're there. But this is gothic fantasy, which I had no idea. I feel like I just wasn't listening when people were talking about it, because I'm pretty sure it's mentioned every time someone talks about this book, but clearly, you know, I wasn't listening, because it's very gothic-y. Like, I'm literally 16 pages in, I read one chapter, and it's super gothic-y. That's not a word. But like the gothic vibes are there. It's very dark. I think it's going to be quite dark throughout. She literally has this voice in her head that she calls Nightmare. Wait, is that what she calls it? Yeah, the Nightmare. And it's this creepy man's voice, like, in her head, like, telling her things, which is really interesting. The magic system is kind of like tarot cards, and, like, you can, like, wield the magic in the cards, and that's the only legal way of having magic. And then I believe there's this, like, illness that makes people's veins go black, and it gives them magic, but not the legal kind of magic. So then I think they have to, like, get rid of them. I don't know, though. But I think she had this illness, but everyone thinks she doesn't have magic, but I'm assuming this nightmare in her head is the magic. I don't know, though. Only read one chapter. But I'm definitely intrigued. I don't know if this was the best choice, because I'm definitely feeling more of a romance, so we may end up reading this alongside another one of the options on the TBR, but at least for tonight I'm going to try and read more of this one, because it is looking really interesting, and I'm intrigued. We have an evil stepmother. Oh, also there's these people, don't remember the name of them, but they hunt. They go after the people who have this illness, and our main character, Elspeth, she had this illness, obviously, like I've said, and her dad is one of the people that goes after them, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic, I think, later on in the book, when maybe some more things are revealed. I don't know. But I think it's going to be interesting. I decided to bite the bullet and just pick it up, because I kept, putting it off for no good reason. So I was like, just go for it, you know? So that's where we're at with this one. But the reason I said I'm really in my romance era, I was like fine with starting this book until I watched Hayley Pham's new video, which literally just came out like half an hour ago. And she read the new Emily Henry book, Funny Story. Is that what it's called? I think so. She read Funny Story in her vlog. And I was like, maybe I want to be in my Emily Henry era. Maybe. So that's definitely going to be the next one we pick up. We're going to pick up Beach Read next, and I may start this tomorrow and read it alongside One Dark Window. I'm not sure, but I want to be in my Emily Henry era, and then I'm planning to, if I like this one, order the other 2 paperbacks of hers that I don't own. I won't get Funny Story until it's in paperback because that bothers me and it's expensive. But I found both of them. Can you see? I found both of them on World of Books for £8.15 together. Oh, I might check the works though. Maybe. But anyway, that's my update. Probably going to start Beach Read tomorrow, but for tonight I'm going to try and make some decent progress with One Dark Window because I feel like I need to get into my, you know, gothic fantasy vibes. I did read maybe 15 pages of Mistborn, but I definitely think that one's going to be, you know, slow moving. I think it's going to take me some time to really get my teeth sunk into that one. But my hair looks so dark in this light. But that's my update. I'm gonna, yeah, go and read One Dark Window. Hello everyone. I'm back. I think it's been a few days. I think I didn't update yesterday, but I did the day before, maybe? I don't know. But, a quick little life update. I think in the last clip, I spoke about the fact that I did my nails, and they were very pretty. But as you can see, I don't have them on anymore. I've actually had an allergic reaction. Yay. And I won't show you, but some of my fingertips look like they're about to blister. So, that is why I haven't updated. Basically, I woke up in the middle of the night yesterday, like, which is the day after I did my nails, and they were incredibly itchy and uncomfortable, and then I left it for a bit longer, and then I did read some stuff yesterday, which I will update you on, but then in the afternoon yesterday, maybe around 3 or 4, I think, I took the nails off, and I'm very glad I did because, yeah, definitely having an allergic reaction to those, so that's a shame. And it's even more of a shame because I had really long nails and then I chopped them all off to put the fake ones on, and then I had to take the fake ones off. So now I have little stubby short nails, but it's okay. But basically that's why I haven't updated, because yesterday I was in a lot of discomfort. And even this morning, but they're not as itchy today. They're still very sore, but they're not as itchy, which I think is good, hopefully. I don't want them to actually blister, so I'm kind of hoping they don't. But I digress. I do have some reading updates. So after I was talking about how I maybe wasn't in the biggest fantasy mood, and I might have to pick up Beach Read alongside One Dark Window because I wasn't sure if I was going to get too into it. Yeah, after that I got to page 100 yesterday morning. I think I read about 70-ish pages in one go. If I remember correctly, I think I was roughly on page 30. And I did get to page 100 and I'm instantly, well, from literally, I think, like, after I stopped filming, I read some more, and then the next morning I also read more, and it just got really interesting, like, really quick, and I'm really invested, and it's very interesting. And we met the love interest. His name is Raven. Is that what it was? Hold on. I don't remember. Yes, Raven, but spelled with a Y, like Ravyn. And I really like him. He's meant to be this, like, I think I explained what her dad does, like what his work is, and Raven is basically like next in line to be that job, if that makes sense. But there's something else going on. There's something, you know, happening that maybe we don't really know yet, but I'm kind of starting to piece things together, and I think, you know, I'm saying a whole lot of nothing, but I think something interesting is gonna happen, and yeah, I can foresee that I'm actually gonna really enjoy this book. I judged it too soon. I just needed to get into the vibes, and then everything was fine and I was really into it, which is good. I'm gonna try and read, sorry, I'm like so out of it. I'm gonna try and read more of this today. I have decided now I want to finish this before I start beach read. You know, I think that's my plan. My fruits look so orange, oh my god. Yeah, that's my plan. You know, this vlog is kind of like mood reading, and I think I am now in the mood for One Dark Window. Definitely also in the mood for beach read. But we'll get to that probably in a couple of days. And I want to make some hefty progress with this one today, and then I will, you know, update you guys maybe when I'm like halfway through. We can do halfway thoughts, and then I'll just probably update you again after that when I finished it. But yeah, those are my updates. That's the story with my hands. It is uncomfortable. Doesn't look very nice. But yeah. Oh, and I managed to get a video up today, finally. Very long video. I apologise. So, back with an update, finally. It's a rather large update. I decided to just not update you guys again, and so I'm back having finished One Dark Window. Guys, next time I want to put off reading a book for 3 months. Can someone just whack me over the head? Because this was great. Why did I put it off for so long? Why do I do this every time? Oh, hello, Winifred. Why do I do this every time? This book was great. I don't know why I decided not to pick it up for like 2 months. Win! Can you be careful? Yes. I finished it. I actually ordered the second one halfway through this one. So that's arriving tomorrow. So you best believe I will be picking it straight up when it arrives tomorrow. I'm not letting it sit on that cart. It's being started tomorrow because the ending was crazy. I feel like when I read books, no matter how much I'm enjoying them, when I get to the last like 20, 30 pages, I'm just excited to be able to say that I finished the book, and I try and rush through it. But when I was reading this one, I wasn't even really paying attention to how many pages I had left, because I just wanted to like keep going and keep reading it. So when it actually ended, I was kind of sad. So I'm very glad that the next book is arriving tomorrow, because this was incredible. I loved the characters, I loved the plot, I loved the magic system is so unique and so interesting, and I can't wait to learn. Oh, we're getting a little bit dark. That's even darker. There we go. I can't wait to learn even more about the magic system and the world, which I definitely think I will be. It was just great. And if you have a very keen eye, you may have noticed I changed one of my tab colours. This brownie red is new because it was kind of pink, and I was like, that does not match her dress, and it is ruining the vibe of the tabs. So, can you see? It's darker now, and I think it looks really good, and I can't wait to have the next one in my hands tomorrow. But I'm in a huge reading mood, and I'm having like a cozy, just like chill working kind of FaceTime later. I'm not starting my final essay yet, so I will be picking up another book. And something about the Final Empire isn't calling my name right now. I think I just want to read something different, maybe. I'm going to start this book that I have in my hands right now that you may have already seen as I brought it over. But if I'm not into it, then I will pick up the Final Empire, because that is the fantasy vibe and this isn't. But I do think I will start beach read tonight. Yeah, it's on the TBR for this vlog. I really don't have an explanation as to why. This is just the next book I want to pick up while I wait for Two Twisted Crowns. But once Two Twisted Crowns arrives, this will probably be put on a bit of a back burner. Unless the start to Two Twisted Crowns is a bit slow. You know, we'll see what happens. But this will be the plan for this evening, and I'll probably update you guys tomorrow at some point on how I get on with this one. But because it's a romance, I imagine I'll get through it quite quickly, and I am quite excited. And then obviously I will show you guys Two Twisted Crowns when she arrives. So I'm very excited. Also, I didn't really notice until I was about halfway through, but there is an illustration of the Twin Alders sorry, there's only one of them, in the back. It's gorgeous. Stunning. I wish there was like, I mean, it's the author's gorgeous face, but I wish there was like the Nightmare card on the front. That would be cool. Maybe it'll be in the second book. Who knows? But yeah, that's my update. I've just noticed in the foreshot is like, this is Paco. It's my Build-A-Bear. So, you know, yep, that's where we're at. And I will get back to you guys tomorrow with some more reading updates. Good morning, everybody. It's about 11 o'clock the next day now. And oh, hello, Win. I have some updates. Let's bring you a little bit closer. I have some updates. I did, in fact, start Beach Read last night. And I didn't get very far last night, I'm not gonna lie. I think I got to chapter 3. Which is, hold on. Bear with me. It's about 25 pages in. So I didn't read a lot. I still haven't read loads, but I am on chapter 8 now, which is page 69, and I'm really enjoying it. Those first 25 pages didn't do too much for me, but what I've read so far now, I'm really, really enjoying it. And I think I will continue to enjoy it, hopefully. It's just, yeah, it's like an interesting dynamic setting. The characters are very interesting. I think January is quite a unique character. And there's also themes of, you know, grief, but also balancing, you know, being angry at the person that you're grieving for, if that makes sense. It's not really a spoiler, because I'm pretty sure it happens in, like, the first 5 pages, but, like, her father dies, January's father dies, but at his funeral she finds out that he had been having an affair, and he'd actually left her the beach house where this affair took place. And where this book opens up is her basically moving into this beach house a year later. And, you know, she's kind of struggling with writer's block. Her publishers need a book by September, so she needs to write a book over the summer, but she's just got this awful writer's block, you know, because of everything that's going on. She usually finds it really easy to write, like, the magic of romance and love, but at the moment that's just, like, not there for her, and she's really struggling to write it. And then you've got Gus, who's next door, and he's her, like, rival, and he's also, like, an author, and yeah, he lives in the beach house next door. And, I mean, from the blurb, I know that he also has writer's block, and he also needs to write a book before the end of the summer. So the premise is leading up to be, you know, very interesting. I'm very intrigued. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, so I think I will definitely continue to really, really enjoy it. back. It's been... Oh, it was only yesterday that my book arrived.
And did you know that yesterday times 2 times -1 is 2 days' time? You know what's in 2 days' time?
My birthday.
Your birthday. Yeah, funny.
Anyway, so I think it was only yesterday that I last spoke to you guys, so it hasn't been long, but I have made quite a bit of progress with the 2 books we're actively working on. I'll start with Beach Read. I can't remember where I was when I last spoke to you, but I definitely made some progress while I was waiting for Two Twisted Crowns to arrive. And I am now, I don't know why I'm looking at the web, I'm now on chapter 12, which is page 125. Also, sorry if you can hear like loads of cars outside. It's really warm again, so leave the windows open. Yeah, I'm on page 125. I am very, very, very eager to get back into this one, but I am waiting until I've finished Two Twisted Crowns, but, you know, just because, I don't know, I want to finish Two Twisted Crowns before I get back into this one, but this one is getting really, really good. Obviously there's a reason that I'm very eager to get back into it. It's just being really fun. I really like our characters. I really like Gus. I love the premise. Like, I think the plot is going to be the most interesting thing for me in this book, not the romance, but the plot, because it's just really fun. I don't know. I think it's going to be so good, and I'm definitely very, very excited to get back into it, but I haven't read any since, you know, about 12 yesterday, and it's now 7 p.m. the following day, so I haven't read any of this for a little bit. So, you know, there's nothing too fresh in my mind to talk about. However, I have made some hefty progress with Two Twisted Crowns. When we last spoke, the book wasn't even here in my hands. I hadn't even started it. And I'm now on page 236, sorry, which is chapter 31. This is good. This is just as good as the first book. It's quite different to the first book. Obviously, like, the whole plot is kind of completely different in a sense. Obviously, all of the magic system and everything is the same, but the goal that we're working towards in this book has taken a little bit of a different shape to what it did in the last book, and if you've read it, you'll understand what I mean. One thing I do really love is the added multiple perspectives in this book. In the last book, we only followed Elspeth's perspective, it was just hers, but in this one we get Elspeth, Raven, and oh my god, one of my favourite characters, what's his name? What's his name? Oh my god, what is happening? He's literally like one of my favourite characters. Elm. That's what it is. I wanted to say you, but that's Raven's last name. Elm. Obviously, Raven is a welcome perspective. I really enjoyed his character in the first book. I feel like we didn't get to see too much of Elm in the first book. At least not as much as Raven, for obvious reasons. But in this book, having Raven's perspective, no. Oh my god, all these names. I'm getting confuddled. Having Elm's perspective in this book has been really, really fun, and I have really appreciated it just as much as I've appreciated Raven's, which I wasn't expecting when I first started this book and, you know, saw that we were getting all these new perspectives. The plot is getting very interesting. We're really in the thick of things. Obviously, I am just over halfway through now, and yeah, stakes are climbing, things are happening. A little sneaky secret romance is happening, which I almost love even more than, like, the main romance, dare I say. But this is really, really good. It's not quite giving me the 5-star feels just yet, but I'm hoping maybe the ending will be so wild and crazy that it will ramp it up. It's definitely giving me, you know, the same sort of vibes as the first book, with, like, maybe a 4.5. But with that being said, today is the last day of April. I was like, what month are we in? It's the last day of April today. So I am going to set myself a little challenge, and I would like to potentially finish Two Twisted Crowns today, before the month is over. Now this is a questionable thing to want to do because I am busy from around 9 p.m. onwards, so that gives me 2 hours, so I actually don't know if it's possible, but I'm gonna really try to get through a whole bunch of this book right now because it's been really fun, very fun. So yeah, that's my update. Those are the books, and we're going to try and finish one of them, preferably Two Twisted Crowns. Hello everyone, it is the 1st of May. Woo! Anyway. Ooh. I am back with an update. I unfortunately couldn't finish Two Twisted Crowns last night. However, I have finished Two Twisted Crowns. I'm a little bit sad that I couldn't finish it yesterday because I read like 385 pages of that book in April and only 45 in May. So I don't know whether to count it as an April book. I'm kind of leaning towards doing that, to be honest, because it's literally 10:30 on the 1st of May. Like, I basically read this book in April. So I might still class it as an April book, but I did finish it. So we now read the whole Shepherd King duology in this vlog, which is a very unexpected turn of events. If you've been following this channel, I have been talking about reading One Dark Window for like 3 months. And I just kept putting it off and I wouldn't pick it up. And then I finally forced myself to for this vlog, and turns out, dare I say, my new favourite duology. Now, I haven't read many duologies, but this may take the cake. This was phenomenal. I think I am gonna give Two Twisted Crowns 5 stars. I think, like, just overall, especially when we're looking at these two books as a whole, they were both incredible. And there was definitely some elements of Two Twisted Crowns that weren't my favourite. There was a serious lack of a character that I did kind of enjoy in the first book. If you've read it, you kind of know what I mean. By that, I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling everything. But yeah, there was that. But then, like, the presence of Elm. Obviously, he was in the first book, but Elm in the second book. Wow, really appreciated his perspective. And just everything that went down. I think it went down quite well. I did find the final bit, like what the whole series was working towards, I did find that a bit, maybe a little bit underwhelming, but I always find stuff like that underwhelming. I just never think huge fantasy plots can be wrapped up in a satisfying way. So I'm not gonna knock down the book for that, because I couldn't tell you a time where I was satisfied with like a big wrap up of a fantasy book. So that's a me problem, I think. I think they're always just a little bit underwhelming, but that's fine. So I think overall this is a 5-star series, and we've got a 4.75 and a 5-star book in this series. I do think both books were quite different. I don't know. I just really love them both. I'm really sad it's over. Honestly, if she wanted to make this like an 8-book series, I would have read it. I don't think the magic system and the plot would have worked in an 8-book series. I think a duology was perfect for what she was trying to do, but if she wanted to write 1,000 books in this series, I think I would have read them, because I just really, really enjoyed this. Now, as for the rest of the reading plans, I'm gonna pick up Beach Read today and maybe get that finished today, because there is a book that I want to start tomorrow. You know, that one, yeah. And tonight we have tonight we have the Holly Jackson like speaker event thing at St James's Church, which I'm very excited about. That starts at 6:30, so I think we're going to try and get there for maybe 6:10, 6:15, because last time I got at the time it started and I was right up the back and I couldn't see her, and I don't want that to happen today. so I'd like to be a little bit further front. Hello everyone, I'm back now. It is a little bit later and I do have a very good update to make for everyone. I did in fact manage to finish Beach Read this afternoon. It's about 10 to 5 now, but I have had dinner and gotten ready, not dinner, lunch, and gotten ready, so it really didn't take me too long at all to get this finished, I have to admit, and it was incredible. I have to say, guys, I don't think I rated a book below 4.75 for this vlog, which is literally insane. I think we had one of the most successful reading vlogs ever, one of the most successful reading weeks ever, and I haven't said yet, but I did rate this book 5 stars. It was amazing. I have to be honest, I just enjoyed like every element of it. The plot is obviously like amazing. I love the plot and the idea of this book a lot. And the characters, Augustus and January, were just amazing. Also, amazing names, great names, great complex characters. It was just amazing, all of it. I even loved the ending. It was all just so well-rounded and good, and I honestly just don't think I can find anything to fault with it. Personally, I just think it was amazing, and it definitely makes me excited to read the rest of her books, but also maybe a little bit scared, because I've heard many a person say that this is her best book, so, you know, but not everyone says this is their favourite of hers, so, you know, but it is generally agreed upon that this is one of her best, if not her best. So I am nervous to pick up some of her other ones, but luckily the other book, oh wait, you can't see it, it's over here, but the other book of hers that I own is Book Lovers, which I've heard is another one that people generally tend to really love, so, you know, there's that. Winifred, I don't know if now is the time to eat. You want to eat right now? Well, you may hear a little kitten eating behind the camera, but, so, for me, I'm going to wrap up this vlog now. However, before I go and say goodbye, I am going to insert all of the clips from Holly Jackson. I don't know how much I'll film, you know, I get a bit nervous filming in public, but I would like to film something, so I will insert all of those now.
And then as soon as Emma Myers' name was even brought up in conversation.
So now we are going to wrap up the vlog because I think I've read all I want to read for this vlog. So I think let's go in order. So the first book we read was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This feels like a lifetime ago that I read this, but it really wasn't. It was like, I don't know, a week ago? It really wasn't a long time ago, but it feels like it was. I ended up rating this book 4.75 stars. I think with some reflection, I really do understand the ending and why Emma had to do, you know, what she did. And I do just love Justin as well. Poor Justin. But I do really understand, I think, more so what happens. And maybe if I had that knowledge that I have now when I finished it, I may have given it 5 stars. But I'm going to stick with my 4.75. I'm going to stick by my initial thoughts and feelings. But honestly, guys, you need to read this. I think I'm really finding my new favourite kind of sub-genre, which is romance with very deep underlying themes of grief or anger or just something deeper and bigger than the romance. You know, we have that in this, we have that in Beach Read, we have that in The 7-Year Slip, which is over there, which I read not too long ago and I loved. And all of them have this common theme of something much deeper being present, and I loved that. With that being said, there are some deeper things, you know, there are themes of child abuse and, you know, a few other things. So, oh, here we go. Oh no, never mind. I thought this was going to be a trigger warning list. But if you're a little bit worried about something like child abuse, kind of child neglect, maybe just check the trigger warnings before you read this book, because, you know, it might be slightly more difficult to process and it might be something that you want to avoid, I don't know. But this was great. I do really, really recommend everyone picking this up. I think, you know, the romance was equal parts the plot as everything else in this book. I don't think it was just solely a romance. I think there was so much more going on within this book. And then we had, honestly, probably one of the biggest surprises of them all, and that was One Dark Window, which obviously I gave 4.75 again, I think. This was great. Honestly, guys, if you like fantasy, read this. I think with, you know, book talk and popular books and things like that, it's kind of, for me at least, it's hit or miss. I think sometimes book talk hypes up books that, in my personal opinion, aren't too great. You know, they're just loaded with tropes and that's kind of all they've got going for them. I do have a book in mind when I'm saying this, but I don't want to talk negatively about any book. Then you do have books that are hyped up on book talk, but are actually really good and they deserve the hype. And it's kind of hard, you know, to know which side of the spectrum you're going to get when you're reading a book talk book. But I think sometimes it's worth the risk because this was incredible. I do not think it was written just to tick a trope whatsoever. If you wanted to, I'm sure people will say there's some enemies to lovers in this. I would disagree. I think I think enemies to lovers is thrown around way too freely at the moment, and majority of the books that I read that are deemed enemies to lovers, they just kind of don't get along in the beginning. They're not enemies by any stretch of the imagination, you know? And I would say the same thing for this. I don't think they were really enemies at all. They were quite friendly within about 10 pages of meeting one another. I don't think they were enemies. You know, yeah, this was not tropey at all, which I love. The magic system was so unique and so well thought out and in depth, which was just amazing. The characters I felt were really flushed out. It was all just amazing. And this was a great, you know, first, I think this is her debut. Phenomenal work, I must say. This was great. Loved it. And then, as we all know, I finished this morning. I read Two Twisted Crowns, which I ended up giving 5 stars. And this was also just great. I mean, it continued on pretty much right where we left off with One Dark Window, with some additional POVs, perspectives, if you will, and it was great. I am in two minds. Am I a Raven girl? Am I an Elm girl? Maybe Elm. Maybe, because he was doing something in this book, let me tell you. He was doing something, I was here for it, I was present, I was enjoying myself. This was great. You know, obviously, if you don't want to read One Dark Window, I can't make you read this, but, you know, this was even better than One Dark Window, so if you're up for this, you know, card, magic system, very gothic fantasy, then I think, and now Winifred is drinking. Oh, you're adorable. If this sounds like something you might be into, read it. It's phenomenal. And then of course, as we, for me, just spoke about, we read Beach Read. I just spoke about this, you know, a couple minutes ago, so I'm not going to go too much into it again. But I also recommend this if you're looking for a romance that has, you know, just more to it. In this book, our main character January, she writes romance, but it's more women's fiction with a subplot of romance, and I kind of feel like that's maybe what this is too. It does not feel solely romance to me. If someone was looking for just a fun romance, I don't think I would recommend them this book, because there's so many layers to it and it's so deep. Same with Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. There's just a lot more going on in these books. So if you're looking for something a little bit deeper, because I know some people, just plain old romance doesn't really do it for them, there is more to these, so maybe check these out. But that is it. I think we did very well in this vlog, guys. I think we read some phenomenal books. I mean, all of these are books that I really loved, and I will probably talk about a bunch to my friends because they were all just phenomenal. I'm gonna pester them. You watching this, guys? I'm gonna pester you until one of you reads one of these books. Mark my words. But yeah, this is what we read in the vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. Can't take myself seriously. Yeah, do those things if you did enjoy the video. That would, you know, I'd really appreciate that. And I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye bye!